Welcome to Frames Team and welcome to the first episode of Brutally Honest Reviews. And the first victim is a Fuji 23 1.4 Super EBC XF 23 1.4R LMWR with a 58mm filter size. It's got some fancy coating named Super EBC. It's an XF mount lens, 23 or full frame 35mm equivalent, F1.4, which will give you about F2 worth of bokeh or F2.1 worth of bokeh full frame equivalent. It's got a linear motor, that's what the LM stands for, and it's WR or weather resistant, and it's got a 58mm filter thread. Now that's the lens. That's the description of the lens. But what does the lens really do? How good is it? I'm going to start straight with the problems. I'm going to say that it's longish in shape. Look at how protruded this lens looks. This looks quite long on these bodies. Maybe on your XH2, XH2S, this is not a problem. I think it will not be a problem even on the XS bodies like the XS20, XS10. But I do think for many of the more popular Fuji bodies, this lens is too long in shape and I do not like it. I think this lens is expensive. It's really expensive for a lens of its class, which is to say a full frame 35 1.8 or APS-C 23 1.4, same class. And I think it's really expensive for that. But we have to figure out whether that money is worth it. Autofocus is great, but it is not perfect. It will hunt, especially when there is a little bit of backlighting, both in video and photography. Not always, but there will be times when you will see, hey, this lens didn't feel like it is going to give you any autofocus problem because it's almost silent. It seems to focus smoothly in most situations, but then there are those situations when you will be left thinking, is it my camera or is it my lens? It is going to give you autofocus hiccups, I think 5 to 10% of the times. Not always, 5 to 10% of the times. But let me tell you, with the recent firmware version 3.01 on the XT5, I found it to work really well. But the autofocus problems do at times act up in those rare occasions. I do not like the petal-shaped, hood because it's not professional. See, it doesn't stand. That's my problem. It's supposed to stand. It can't just, look at the 33 1.4. It doesn't have a petal-shaped hood. It has a round hood. It doesn't have any custom button. Absolutely no custom button. There's just one button to put it to automatic, this one. But other than that, there is no custom button on this lens. That is something I don't like. I would have liked at least an autofocus manual focus button or a focus hold button, things like that. It's an expensive lens. It should have a little bit more customizability, a little bit more features. I like the build quality. It is quite nice, typical Fuji metallic looking body, although not all of it is metal. Remember that. It looks metal all the way, but it is not metal all the way. It is weather sealed and the weather seal is done quite well. The clickiness of this aperture is beautifully done, which I like. And it's got vignetting. Alright, it's got vignetting at least till F4, but by F4 it's almost negligible. To be honest, even at F1.4, it doesn't have tremendous amount of vignetting. It has got some. So those are the bad things. And I think overall, it could have come with a bit more feature. It could have been shaped slightly better in the sense that it could have been shorter. I do not like the petal-shaped hood, but I think I think it's just wrong. It can't do this. What is this? But does it make sense? Does it make sense for you to pay this money for this lens, especially you have a cheaper, 23 f2 from Fuji, which is also weather sealed, decent to autofocus with, when you have third-party options from Sigma and Viltrox for a long time now. You also have actually 27 f1.2 from Viltrox. So you have options. So does it make sense to go for this one? Let me tell you the good part. This has got almost no fringing. I don't know what Fuji has done. Maybe the super ABC coating has got some voodoo. It's got almost no fringing or imperceptible amount of fringing, which is beautiful. I love lenses that don't have fringing because they just render images that are stunning. I mean, they do, okay? This lens does not have longitudinal chromatic aberration. I think it almost doesn't have any LCA. It has a little bit of longitudinal chromatic aberration, but I think by the time you're at f2, practically there is none. And even if there is, you won't see that. And I'm doing tests, and I'm telling you there's not much longitudinal chromatic aberration even at f2. Let's talk about sharpness. This lens is mighty sharp across the frame, and at f2, f2.8, it is as sharp as it can get, and it does full justice to the 40 megapixel sensor on this X-T5. The bokeh is beautiful and soft. I like the circles in the bokeh. They're nice. They're really good. Also, in general, the autofocus elements look really beautiful. They're soft, beautiful bokeh. I mean, there is absolutely no problem in the bokeh. Let's talk about how it feels to use. It feels absolutely beautifully refined. It's got a very nice focus motor. I didn't hear any noise on this lens, which is very good because this is also a lens which can be a very good studio lens, because 35 millimeters oftentimes is great for studio. If you have a YouTube channel, if you want a lens that is great for just sitting in front of the camera and just talking. Look, like this one, I'm shooting this on Z8 and the Tamron 35 1.4. What an amazing lens. Again, it doesn't have much problems. You will not see chromatic aberration anywhere in this image, and beautiful bokeh. This lens, I would say, is great for this kind of videos as well. I would any day happily use this lens for these kind of videos. And the last thing, although it's a bit long, it is a bit long because the weight is well managed, it doesn't balance unfavorably. It balances quite nicely, in fact. I mean, it's just nice to balance with something like an X-T5. It's only going to be better with XS20 or XH bodies. So overall, this lens qualifies with flying colors, and I actually have taken the burden of taking a great product for my first brutally honest review episode, and I think I'm going to give it 9.5 out of 10. And I'm telling you, I'm not going to do some calculation and show you the how it adds up to 9.5. I'm telling you, after using the lens quite well for some time, I can tell you this lens, and really doing a lot of testing, what you will be left with is that this feeling that this lens is completely perfect. It has got almost no flaw. You will find it difficult to find any flaw with it. You'll forget this lens is so good that you'll only focus on the work. That's how good this lens is. Okay, you buy this, forget every worry.
Well, I forgot two brutally honest points. This lens has some distortions. Things on the side look elongated, but that's not how you make it look bigger.
It is still on the expensive side.
But on the bright side, the Fuji 23 1.4 has excellent ghosting and flaring resistance. There is no reason whatsoever, no logical reason whatsoever to why I'm acting creepy.
This is the lens that you should plan for, but get it. If you're serious about photography and you want to get better result out of better gear, this is 9.5 out of 10, and this is better than any full frame equivalent. I'm talking about Sony 35 1.8. I'm talking about Canon 35 1.8 RF or also EF mount. I'm talking about even the Nikon 35 1.8. This lens is worth the money. It is right now better than any full frame equivalent lens or any lens made by any other manufacturer, even the Viltrox lenses, the Viltrox 1.2 lenses. So this qualifies. It passes my brutally honest review. If you like this, I'm going to put the link to this lens in my video. If you like this channel, subscribe. Help me grow to 10,000 subscribers quickly, as soon as you can, because it takes nothing from you. Nothing. You just have to be a little kind and press on the subscribe button. And I'm going to see you soon with another video soon. Also, if you like to help me out, support the channel, you can use super thanks, you can leave a comment, you can like the video. Do these things because that really encourages creators like me who are small but trying to make this space a little more honest and argumentative. That's fine, but I think at least honest without the malice in the argument. I'm fine with the arguments as long as it doesn't have malice, and I carry no malice towards anyone. I love you all, and I'm going to see you soon with another one.
Subscribe and like my videos.